It was only just over a week ago that I predicted Samoa would make the World Cup final, and then... Well, don't I look a bit silly now? But I thought that Samoa had the playing roster to compete with the best countries outside of Australia and New Zealand, and considering they are on the easiest side of the draw, I thought that that was their best chance. But during my predictions and during me thinking about them, I failed to basically think of one thing, and that is, well, that Matt Parrish is the Samoan head coach. And I think that England's huge win over Samoa proved that the Matt Parrish issue has not gone anywhere despite how good their playing roster is. And I think that England exposed that Matt Parrish is Samoa's biggest problem. But guys and gals, before we get any more into the video, please smash that like button if you enjoy it. Comment your thoughts down below. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It is completely free and you can always unsubscribe later. So just smash that button right now. But let's get straight back into the video. Now, I do not care if you're the West Tigers playing the Australian side. To concede 60 points is an embarrassment. And let's not forget that going into this match, Samoa were favourites. They were $1.60 compared to England's $2.20. And everyone thought that this was going to be a weaker England side as normal. Now, if Samoa had lost this game by, let's say, 12 points, I think there would have been a bit of disappointment, but not too much backlash. But the fact they've conceded 54 points has raised huge concerns, and I can admit right now, if Matt Parrish is going to stay as the Samoan head coach, that I think that they are no chance of making it past even the first final, because they're more than likely going to finish second now. And this video could really age poorly, because whoever wins that PNG and Tonga game in the morning, here in the good old Australian time, that is who Samoa will more than likely face in the first week of finals. And if it's PNG, maybe they have a sniff, but considering they lost 54 points to England, I'm probably not going to tip them against either of them. But if they come up against Tonga, I doubt they're going to make it past them. But when you look at their side, and I still stand by what I said, look at it. It not only is every single one of them a good NRL player, except for Danny Levi, who was still proven that he could hang at that level. They have so many Origin players. They've got Suoli'i, who's going to be there next year, To'o, Crichton, Luai, Milford, who was only there a few years ago, Papali'i and Junior Bolo, who both started in the front row in State of Origin this year, Hamlin Uele, Tyrone May, Spencer Lena, who could start at any club except for Penrith. They have a stacked side, one of the best in the competition. Outside of Milford at halfback and maybe Levi at hooker, they have such a strong squad, but they got done by 54 points. Not even Fiji lost to Australia by that much. Not even Lebanon, with Adam Dewey getting sent off, lost to New Zealand by that much. These guys lost to, let's face it, a pretty understrength England side compared to the past. Now, let's face it, England, were they outstanding? Of course they were, but I still don't think that if they get to a final, and look, anything can happen in 80 minutes, but they're not going to be able to knock off Australia or New Zealand, in my opinion. Now, England, Dominic Young, Jack Wellesby, Victor Radley, they were all terrific, but I can't name one Samoan player who could even get past a 5, because that Origin front row got dominated. Their back row, it's definitely lacking now. Hamlin Uele and May are out. Milford and Luai certainly didn't work, and that's to be expected. It's their first game, but you cannot lose by 54 points, no matter what level you're at. In the professional game, the NRL, Origin, World Cup, it is an embarrassment to concede 54 points. And now I may just be extra mad because I'm upset that my predictions are already down the toilet. But I have faith in this Samoan team, otherwise I would have put them in the final. But I did fail to recognise Matt Parrish. Now, Parrish unfortunately hasn't had a great coaching career, and it was only about a year and a half ago where apparently there were concerns players didn't want to play under him They wanted Matty Johns, they wanted Joey Johns, they wanted SBW, and the Samoan Rugby League board turned them down for Matt Parrish, who, let's face it, has no record. He's coached now 20 games for Samoa, and he's won 7 of them. That's a win percentage of 35%. He's outside of that, his other only really head coaching job was for the Salford City Reds in 2011, which I don't know who the bloody hell they are. I think they were a Super League team, but 6 games, 1 win, 17%. He has never beaten Australia, he has never beaten England, and he has never beaten New Zealand. Look, unfortunately, it's not that good. You could have had Matty Johns, Joey Johns. You could have had SBW. You even have Jeff Tuvey helping out on your board. And from looking at it, he said they were underdone. How could they have been underdone? Now, I get it. Some of the Penrith boys, maybe they were a bit hungover from all those celebrations. But Milford has had 6 weeks to prepare. Suoli'i has probably been training at fullback for 4 weeks. You've got all these guns. I just don't get it. It bamboozles my mind how poor they were. They all talked about their passion for Samoa, which of course I still think there is. I mean, look at the passion in the opening, and maybe that took it out of them. Maybe that was exhausting because they stuck with England for 20 minutes, and I could understand, if they were not in sync, which they clearly weren't, but it was effort. It was simple effort areas. Brian To'o was quiet. Suoli'i had so many errors. Their front row, which we established is origin worthy, got absolutely dominated by Tom Burgess. And all due respect to Tom on his day, he's one of the best forwards in the NRL. But it's Tom Burgess. He comes off the bench for the Rabbitohs. He's not making an origin side based on his form that he showed in 2022. He single-handedly ran over Papali'i and Bolo. Victor Radley, it was his first game with these England boys, and look how well he looked. I'm so concerned for Samoa. And have they even been doing any training? Has Parrish even got them coaching? Again, I don't want to be too critical because I don't see behind the lines, but it's hard not to be. They were so poor. So what would I do? Well, I think the best thing the forwards, unfortunately, that's what you got to work with. If they're not going to turn up and try and put their best effort in, then you're not going to be able to win these games. Surely they can beat the other 2 teams in their pool, but I'm not as confident they can even finish second anymore. But I'd be Penrithing the holy hell out of this team. I'd be putting Stephen Crichton at fullback, or even the hammer there, putting Suoli'i in the centres or on the wing, because unfortunately Suoli'i just had way too many errors at fullback. I know it was his first game, he's going to get better, but you're in a World Cup, there's not many games to play with, so I'd be putting Crichton at fullback, Suoli'i on the wing, Hammer in the centres, although if Hammer is out, then, probably, I don't know. I don't know, boys. I don't know. I think Taylor and May's there, so bring May into the wing, put Suoli'i in the centres. But I think you just got to Penrith this crap out of this team. Have Luai go to the 7. Have Harris DeVita play the 6. Luai, he has to be the dominant ball player. Milford's going to be missing a game, so hopefully that helps out a bit. But Matt Parrish, he's Samoa's biggest problem. There was obviously some unsettling from the players towards him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have had that big thing 18 months ago with the Johns brothers and SBW. And let's face it, Samoa, they've always had a strong team. This is obviously probably their strongest team ever, but they've always had a strong team, and they've always been less. They've been worse than Fiji despite having better sides. They've been worse than Tonga despite having better sides at some stages. They've never been able to beat one of the top 3 countries, and if they don't do it with this team, especially if they're going to change the origin eligibility rules, I'm very concerned. So, what would I be doing? I'd be doing what I said. Putting Crichton at fullback, probably Suoli'i to the centres, bringing May to the wing, Penrithing the holy hell out of this team, moving Luai to 7. He can still play his side on the left, but I want him to take control, and I want Harris DeVita in there over Milford. Luai and Milford probably just too similar at this point, but unless you get those forwards going, I don't think Samoa's going to do too much. Obviously, we're going to see how it plays out, but if it's me, I'm putting Tuvey as coach, and I'm doing it immediately because unfortunately, Matt Parrish, he hasn't accomplished anything in the game, and if they want to, they probably need a head coach who, let's face it, needs a decent professional coaching record. But guys, let me know, do you think that Samoa have to replace Matt Paris as head coach? What lineup changes would you make? Drop it all in that comment section down below. Smash that like button if you do go on to enjoy the video, and make sure you do subscribe so you don't miss any content in the World Cup. We're going to be covering at 8 a.m. the Samoa versus not Samoa, Tonga versus PNG game, which should be match of the week so far. So subscribe, smash that like button, let me know your thoughts in that comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next one.